welcome to my channel. So in this video we're going to talk about something that I find that a lot of people do wrong when they're drawing. So let me ask you this. If you're drawing, when you're sketching out, let's say you're sketching a face or you're just painting a scenery, what are you thinking about? Like, are you really that receptive to the things that you see in the reference, or are you lost somewhere else? Like, I got this idea from seeing beginner artists, and when I post on Reddit, people do sometimes ask me for critiques and just help them out fixing the portraits especially. And the thing that I noticed is that their proportions are always off, and it's kind of funny, but the proportions, the drawing in itself, it's not like you're not having some motor function that you need to get skilled at first and then you can draw, right? So if you see me sketching, then I'm just making these lines all the time to just indicate a value, even if it's like a face or hair or anything else. It's just lines, right? So why are we misjudging the proportions to that extent? And I thought that it was just my perspective, like, but then I thought about it, and let's say that if you were boxing or playing football, there's a lot of stuff that you need to learn, and you have to build it in your muscle memory, right? And in drawing, as you can see, even at this point, I'm just making lines. So where exactly do people screw it up? Like, it is that simple, right? It is just lines after lines after lines. So where are people getting it wrong? And the answer is, I talked about it in one of my previous videos, but the truth is that you're not all there when you're sitting down to make your stuff. I was gonna say stuff. Mixture of two words. But anyways, yeah, you're not all there. So if you're a beginner, then just pick up your sketchbook and look at the portraits that you drew, I don't know, like a year ago. So when I pick up my old sketchbooks, I'm almost always just shocked at like, how did I even overestimate the distance between two eyes to that extent? Or how is the nose so further away from the lips? It doesn't make any sense. So let's say that I was with you right now and I was like, hey, draw a portrait for me. I hand you the sketchbooks and I hand you the pencil, eraser, everything that you need. And I'm like, make a portrait for me and do your best. But like, if I was not pushing you and nothing of that sort was happening, you'd just be like, okay, I'm going to make this portrait, or I'm going to make whatever you want to make. And it's going to be just average. Most probably you're not doing your best because you're not like pressurized into that kind of a situation, whereas if it was like a life depending situation, you would do your level best. You'd make sure that it is the best work of your entire life. And just to put a perspective in your mind, I will just tell you that a few artists even make sure that every time their brush touches the canvas, it is literally the best brushstroke that they have made in their life. Like, just have that sort of a mentality when you're sitting down to draw next time. Like, each mark that I make, I am going to make sure that the mark is perfectly placed and it is going to be the best mark that I've made in my life. And just think about it, each time you touch the paper with your pencil and you have that idea backed up in your mind where you're like, okay, this needs to be as perfect as it can be, then your drawings will just turn out to be much better, because it is just that you just need to be able to sit with yourself and have some patience and see to the end. I think that his name is Richard, and he probably, I read a line, I don't have his book, but he said that each time his brush touched the canvas, he made sure that the brushstroke was literally the best brushstroke that he made in his life. And I'm just telling you so that you know what kind of mentality the artists that you admire have when they're drawing. So don't ever think that you're going to doopty doopty do your way into some great art form. You're not going to learn singing that way, you're not going to learn art that way, you're not going to be good at running that way. If you're just toying around with the idea of being good and not actually ever trying your best, then you're in for a rude awakening. So be all there when you're drawing next time, and yeah, I will see you in the next one.